All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Public Health Virtual Education Series, Wažookį, Family Conversation. I'm Jamie Decora, the CHR Supervisor, and here with me is Randall, our Public Health Nurse, who will help moderate today's session. The goal of the series is to gather, learn, and share about coaching culture, resources, services, and the connection to health. In public health, we focus on prevention, promotion, and the protection of the health and well-being of our communities. Health and well-being are rooted in many aspects of our lives, from our physical body, our mental health, our spirit, the environment we live in, and much more. During these sessions, we will explore topics that can impact our health and well-being. Together, we will learn about tools and resources to improve our health and the health of our communities. Today, we are happy to have nurse educator Rodenberg here to talk about commercial tobacco cessation, and Randall Blackdeer to talk about the cultural significance of traditional tobacco. We will have about 45 minutes for both presentations, followed by Q&A. Please use the chat function to enter in any comments or questions for our presenters. Randall and I will monitor the chat throughout the presentation and read the questions for our presenter at the end. You can also raise your hand and come off mute during the Q&A to ask your questions out loud, and any questions that we don't have time for, we will bring to our presenters and email back to the group. This session is being recorded and will be posted on the Department of Health website and the Facebook page. Everyone, please welcome Holly and Randall.
Hello, so I'm Holly. I'm the nurse educator, like they said. I've been doing this job for about 14 years now, and I've worked previously as a clinic nurse, so I may have met some of you in my different capacities through the years. Unfortunately, Abby Bouchard, who is the other one that was going to present with me, may not be able to join us today. So Abby and I are both tobacco treatment specialists, so we've had some additional training in, we went through Mayo for our education. And then we have like ongoing CUs and stuff to keep abreast of things. So we have some extra training in that area. People that work with Abby and I are sometimes referred by providers, and they also can self-refer to us. So I have a PowerPoint that I'm going to share. Yeah. Okay, see my PowerPoint okay? All right, so I am going to start here. So we wanted to talk today about benefits of quitting tobacco, so commercial tobacco. So commercial tobacco, we are not just talking about cigarettes. That may be the most common thing that people talk about, but also from like chewing tobacco, pouches, things like that, from vapes that are nicotine containing, and other products such as that. There are other nicotine products. So benefits of quitting, this is just a quick timeline, and you can see that as soon as 20 minutes after quitting, that the pulse and blood pressure start to decrease. And then it's got where your lungs actually starting to clear out some of the mucus by 24 hours. Coughing is actually a good sign. So sometimes when we're working with people that are quitting smoking, they'll say, you know, I'm actually coughing more than I was before. But once you quit smoking, your lungs kind of start cleaning house. And we'll talk about that a little bit further ahead here. But so you can see anyway, some of these benefits that go out starting right away almost, and then go out through the years. Now we'll focus on just some of the areas. So the brain is one area that can be affected. So certainly nicotine changes the way your brain works. So quitting smoking helps to rewire your brain, and a large number of those nicotine receptors in your brain will return to normal levels after about a month of being quit. So there's those little nicotine receptors, and that's what, if nicotine is not in them, is what kind of cries out to your body when you're quitting or not had a cigarette for a period of time or nicotine for a period of time. is what prompts some of the cravings and some of the symptoms. Okay. Head and face. So sharper hearing, these are some things that some people don't realize. So sharper hearing, quitting smoking will help keep your hearing sharp. And remember that even mild hearing loss can really create some problems for people in life, like not understanding instructions properly or not getting information that they needed. Better vision, stopping smoking will improve your night vision, helps preserve your overall vision by stopping damage that the smoking does to your eyes. A clean mouth. Nobody likes a dirty mouth, certainly. After a few days without cigarettes, things will start to turn around. You'll have a brighter smile. The yellowing on the teeth will improve. A lot of people actually get their teeth cleaned when they're just quitting. As another, once you get your teeth cleaned and fresh and have that whiter smile, you're able to preserve that better then. Not smoking will certainly give you a healthier mouth in every way for years to come. Clear skin. Quitting smoking is better than a lot of anti-aging lotions and things as far as that aging look on the skin like it shows in that photograph. It does cause premature aging or wrinkling and things of that nature. The heart. So with the heart, decreased heart risk. So smoking is actually the leading cause of heart attacks and heart disease. Many of them can be reversed by quitting smoking, and you're definitely going to lower your risk on those things. You can lower your blood pressure and heart rate starting, like we saw, very soon after quitting, like even as soon as 20 minutes, there starts to be some improvements. Your risk of a heart attack declines within 24 hours, some, and then just continues to decline. Thin blood. Another effect of quitting smoking is that your blood will become thinner and less likely to form like blood clots. Less work for your heart to pump that blood around then. Your heart will be able to move that blood around your body much more easily. Lower cholesterol. Quitting smoking will not only help get rid of some of the fat deposits that are there, but it definitely will lower the levels of cholesterol and fat circulating in your blood, which will help to slow down the buildup of any new fat in the arteries. Your lungs. So some damage to the lungs that occurs is not reversible. So when we start talking about things like emphysema, so we want to stop smoking soon as young as we can. That doesn't mean that it isn't a benefit when we do quit smoking. So there is a natural decline as we age, like our lungs when we're 25 years old compared to someone who is 70 years old. There's definitely some decline naturally as we age, but that natural level of decline, wherever we quit smoking at, the sharp decline that we see that's caused by smoking, that actually will go back then to that more gradual decline after that of aging. So definitely wherever you stop, the younger you are when you stop, the better, but at any age, it will definitely help people to, in that way. It'll increase both the number of years you're likely to live and the quality of your life in those years. Return of cilia. So cilia are these little tiny hair-like creatures that help clear mucus from our lungs. They're in the lining of the lungs. They're one of the first things in your body to start healing, and they are part of why people notice that coughing more. That's a sign that those little cilia are starting to actually come to life or come back to working more, and can help remove some of the crud out of our lungs then. That will make us better able to fight off colds or infections and things like that. Stomach hormones and erectile dysfunction. So this has got just a few other things that people don't always think of. So first of all is the less belly fat and less risk of type 2 diabetes. So a lot of people don't realize that the risk as a non-smoker is about 30 to 40% less risk of developing type 2 diabetes than a smoker. If you already have diabetes, quitting can help keep your blood sugar levels in check, helps to regulate them better. Normal estrogen levels. So for a woman, estrogen levels gradually return to normal after they quit smoking. And certainly if someone hopes to have children someday, quitting smoking sooner than later will help ensure their chances of a healthier pregnancy. And women who are older, having those normal estrogen levels is key to preventing a lot of problems. And then as far as sexual function, if some people quit, men certainly, that lowers their chances of erectile dysfunction. And we all know that for everyone, that's a big part of people's wellness in life. And for men and women, there can be improvements in that area. Blood and immune system. When you quit smoking, your body will begin to heal from the injuries that smoking caused, and eventually your white blood cell counts will return to normal and no longer kind of be on the defensive. Proper healing. You hear a lot of times where that's a requirement before you have some elective surgeries and things like that. They require people to quit smoking, and that's because it really improves the blood flow to wounds, the ability to get oxygen for healing. The nutrients, minerals, and oxygen can then reach the wound and help things heal better. Stronger immune system. When you quit smoking, your immune system is no longer exposed to all that tar and nicotine. It'll become stronger. You'll be less likely to get sick or get as sick. Muscles, bones, and DNA. So lower cancer risks. So quitting smoking will prevent new DNA damage from happening, can even repair damage that's already been done. So quitting smoking is the best way to lower your chances of getting cancers. Quitting smoking will help increase availability of oxygen in your blood so that your muscles may become stronger and healthier. And quitting smoking reduces your risk of osteoporosis and fractures, both now and later in life as well. Some non-health benefits to quitting then. More money. A lot of people that we work with have taken the money that they've saved from not buying tobacco products and used it to save up towards some kind of a reward for themselves for being successful with quitting smoking. I work with people who have actually gathered up enough money to go on a trip to visit family they hadn't seen in a while, or some pretty significant things like that. Because if you think about, if you kind of just did a little equation of how much is a pack of cigarettes, say, let's say $10 a pack, times how many packs a day a person smokes, times how many 365 days in the year equals, for a pack-a-day smoker, that's $3,650 a year that could be saved and used in other ways. So more time. There's a lot of time that you could gain by not smoking, and the freedom of not needing to plan your time around when you're going to have that next cigarette. People have told me so many times how important and freeing that is to them to not have that. Especially when they're like doing things with other people and stuff. And then smelling better and that kind of thing, that is a huge thing. A lot of people tell me that although they like smoking, they sure don't like the smell that gets on them, that really, really bothers them. Not only their breath, but their clothing and hair and things like that. So those are all benefits. So first steps to help you quit. So Abby and I both work with people. We'll do appointments with people. They can be in person, they could be by over the phone. It depends on the person and the circumstances. Some people also see their provider, and the provider makes a referral to us. For me to see people, the provider self-order the medication. So for a provider to have seen someone recently or have person to have had regular visits is important. Otherwise, a visit might be required to the provider at least once to get that going. is particularly if somebody needs like medications ordered. Abby actually is able to order medications as an advanced practice pharmacist. So anyway, scheduling an appointment, you can schedule appointments with us by going through patient registration at either the House of Wellness for Abby or for the Ho-Chunk Healthcare Center for me. Number two, identifying your motivation. That's a big deal because when things get hard, and you know that it's not an easy thing at all to quit smoking. So when days are hard or motivation is kind of waning, remembering why you wanted to quit and being able to focus back, whether it's for your health, whether you want to be able to have more energy, whether you're trying to be a good example for your children or protecting your children from secondhand smoke and things of that nature. That's a big deal. Saving money is the big deal. So kind of coming up with what all your reasons are of motivation for quitting is important. Determining a timeline for when you want to quit. Some people, they want to kind of wait until after a certain date or event that's coming up, and they feel like they'd be best set for success to plan for that time. Some people are just, say, no, I'm ready, I'm just about ready right now and ready to go kind of thing. So kind of figuring out when that good timeline is. Choosing a method that would work for you, whether that's, some people, they quit cold turkey, so to speak. Some people start tapering back on how many cigarettes they smoke or how much tobacco they use up before their quit date even. Deciding if you want to use a medication to help you quit. So we know that by people working with someone that can, like a tobacco treatment specialist or someone that can help them in that way, can double their chances of being a successful quit for them. And we know that by using some of the medications that are available can double your chances again. And that could be prescription medications, or it could be over-the-counter like tobacco nicotine products, nicotine replacement products. So those are all things. But by working with us, we can help someone develop a plan. We can look at identifying their triggers. What are the things that make them smoke? What are high-risk situations that they might get into? And kind of come up with a good plan for helping people plan for how they're going to handle some of the things like that when they quit. Okay, so what kind of resources are available? We have the tobacco treatment specialists that we can work with folks. Again, we follow people for as long as they would like support, for as often as they would. I've got people that I still check in on who have quit. It's been a year or two since they quit. And I know Abby does as well. Just periodic check-ins to say, hey, how are things going? We've mailed cards on people's quit anniversaries and things like that, when they're a month smoke-free or 2 months smoke-free and so forth. Prescription medications, they're covered fully by Auxient. There's Chantix and bupropion or tablets, they're by prescription. There's nicotine patches, gum, lozenges, and nasal spray that are actually over the counter, but they usually like to get a prescription for them, and they can be dispensed through our pharmacy by the pharmacist without a doctor's prescription per se, if they're working with someone. Combinations of those things is common for someone to maybe be using an oral medication with nicotine replacement, or using like patches, a long-acting nicotine product with something short-acting like gums, lozenges, or the nasal spray. Quit books. We have books that are available that kind of guide you through developing your quit plan. They're excellent. Places for you to write down notes and kind of come up, work on putting a plan together. We have those available to individuals. We have quit bags, we call them. So these are little bags that have things like a fidget spinner, ideas of things to do, what to do when you're having a craving, toothpicks, coffee stirring sticks, little puzzle books. all these things are things that can help you come up with alternative ways to keep your hands and mouth busy, because we know we're going to want to have substitutions or things to do to keep your hands and mouth busy instead of having that cigarette or tobacco. And those are things that are available to people by contacting us also. Okay, so then there's a few slides here about other things that are available. So there's a lot of things like text message programs. So we'll look at a couple places, but smokefree.gov that's on the screen there is an excellent resource. This smoke-free text is something that Abby said she had a few people that used. It sends them like periodic little text reminders. You can opt out at any time. There's programs that are geared more towards teens, toward Native American individuals, veterans, moms, for people that chew or dip. So they have different programs, and they'll send you like reminders and things to help you keep kind of on track, little informational tidbits. Smoke-free native, that's also at smokefree.gov. That one is developed with IHS and the American Indian Cancer Foundation to specifically look at the needs of people that are American Indian or Alaska Native individuals, kind of recognizing the significance of traditional tobacco, something that some other programs maybe wouldn't as well. And you can see on there, you can text Native in capital letters to 47848 to enroll, and then you'll get help in that regard. Quit Start app, that's an app you can download. I guess some individuals have really enjoyed that. If you're someone that enjoys apps and that kind of a program, you can monitor your progress, you get badges, you can keep track. It helps you get back on track if you slip up and smoke. It has things to distract you from cravings like games or challenges. So you can see that that's another thing that would be available through smokefree.gov and their tools. Here's a list of some national resources. So again, there are a lot of good resources. There are a lot of resources out there that maybe aren't as good, but these are all very good resources. The smokefree.gov is a big thing, but these are all possible options here. Okay, and that is all I had for my piece right now.
Randall, were you ready?
Yes. Can you hear me okay? So just talking about traditional tobacco. So in our tribe in the Ho-Chunk Nation, tobacco is called Dani, Wonk Dani, or Hapi Daiuna. It's sacred. It's pretty much like everything in our tribe. In our teachings, everything's sacred. The earth is sacred, the sky is sacred, the rocks are sacred, the plants are sacred. But tobacco kind of has like a special place has a higher standing, I guess. In our stories, going back when the creator first created everything that we have, humans were the last of his creations. And we were the most pitiful, they say, because we didn't have wings, we didn't have sharp claws, we couldn't jump super high, we didn't have sharp teeth, all these things that can help us, protect ourselves. Like we didn't have any of that, and we're the most pitiful, and we're, preyed upon. And so to help us he gave us tobacco. And when the first person, got that vision of how to use it, how to process it, he awoke and he had new tobacco seeds and corn seeds. And, from that day forward, when we ask the spirits, ask the Great Spirit for things, we make an offering of tobacco because that plant is ours. The spirits, when they smell tobacco being burned, they enjoy that smell and they want it, but they can't possess it, just humans. So when we pour tobacco and make these offerings, then, we're asking them for life and health and different things. And then in return, the spirits can get the tobacco and help us out, kind of thing. So it's offerings to the spirits. Yeah, so I grow tobacco. It's one of those things that you get the right to grow tobacco. You have to do it for the rest of your life. So every year, tobacco growers grow our tobacco. It's a different species than commercial tobacco. The commercial tobacco, it's Nicotiana tabacum. It has a kind of a pink flower. And then Nicotiana rusticum is the species of tobacco that we use. I read that there's over 70 different species of tobacco. And the one that we use has the yellow flower. The seeds are little tiny, like grains of sand almost. And, we plant them every spring, and they're very fussy kind of plants. And when they grow, the leaves are just a little bigger than my hand, the big ones. And commercial tobacco, they're really enormous leaves. Sometimes they'll do blends and mix commercial tobacco in with the regular, just because maybe they ain't growing up that season. Or sometimes they'll supplement with red willow or things like that. But the official plant is the Nicotiana rusticum longdani. Yeah, so I don't know if you have any other questions for. And one of the other things I think is what I was trying to get an answer for was, why we use commercial tobacco so much at different ceremonies. Like if you go to a wake or a feast or a medicine dance or anything like that, there's always cigarettes galore. And, I asked several elders about this and I haven't gotten like a clear kind of answer as to why that is, like a lot of speculation. So I think it's pretty much all it is, I guess, is speculation as to why we do it. But, in thinking about it, one of the big teachings in our tribe is, elders are a source of information, and, everything about who we are has been passed down to us, through our elders, through our teachings. So what your parents did, what your elders did, you want to emulate that and use what they taught you. So in a lot of ceremonies, they'll say, don't come up with something new. Do as you were told, do as you saw when you were younger, what they taught you how to do. And so I think that teaching might have kind of gone against us in this instance, because ever since I was little, when I went to ceremonies, I saw people smoking cigarettes and chewing tobacco and whatnot. And so that's what we continue today, and that's what my kids are seeing. And, so I think that's kind of one of those things that, we grew up doing this. And so, that's how we continue doing it. And so that's kind of, I feel like it's one of those kind of teachings that got a little changed over the years, and nobody really seems to know exactly where that happened. And that's what I got. I don't know if you guys have questions. Look at the chat.
Yeah, Randall, would you be able to speak to why traditional or ceremonial tobacco is only grown and handled by males?
So that's one of the things in our tribe that a lot of times people don't realize is that there's very few things that are across the board as far as like rules go. There's some rules that, apply to every clan, every family, but a lot of times when you hear somebody say, don't do this because this reason, you'll ask your elder, your clan leader about it, and they'll be like, no, we do it this way. So like there is a lot of things that, you have to have that disclaimer about because, different families might do things different ways, different clans. So I've heard a couple different things about this, males only. So the big thing seems to be that the belief has been that when a woman is, has her period, then that's like a very special, sacred, powerful kind of time. And, she's usually separate from ceremonies. Again, this is, teachings from one family, other families might feel differently, but the gist seems to be that, she's a powerful person and she could cause harm if she goes to ceremonies or, when I was growing up, my dad didn't sleep in the same room as my mom when she was going through her cycle. So like it's believed that, that could harm or alter or, some kind of, thing, do harm. So a woman shouldn't be growing tobacco when she's, the age that she would be having her time. So in my, well, I can't even say in my family because some family members might feel differently, but what I was told was that a woman could grow tobacco after she's, gone through menopause, or, and some people might feel that just altogether women shouldn't grow it just because of that risk. And there's been stories I've heard where, people had to pull up their whole crop because someone might have, a woman who's that age might have walked through that area where they're planting. So some people take it that serious that, that it could be affected that way.
Thank you.
Yep. Is there any other questions? Okay. Go to the background.
So I don't see anything in the chat right now, but does anybody have any questions for Holly or Randall? Feel free to come off mute, put it in the chat.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
All right. This one's for Randall. I was wondering if there was any songs for growing tobacco or anything along those lines.
Not that I am aware of. I know, so much of our culture has been lost over the years. And there used to be, from what I heard, there used to be a song for everything. There used to be a song for waking up in the morning, for starting a fire, for all kinds of, reasons. And I'm sure growing tobacco, that sounds like it could have been a song. But they do say that when you are, out there with your plants and your, trimming them or whatever, watering them, that the plants do like to hear your voice. So you can sing whatever song you want to them, you can talk to them, and I guess that helps them grow. And a lot of people do that. And my wife, her mother used to have my wife talk to the plants in her house, and she's not even Ho-Chunk, she's Salvadorian, so that's kind of goes throughout the world, I guess. A lot of people talk and sing to their plants.
Does anybody else have any questions while we have time?
All right, if there are no other questions, just a reminder, you guys can always email us questions later. But I think we're good for closing. I just want to start by saying Pinagigi, and thank you all for joining us today. As a reminder, this session is being recorded and will be available on the Department of Health website and Facebook page. We look forward to seeing you in our next session, which will be on Wednesday, January 22nd from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And we will have Samantha Skenador, a partner at Patterson, Real Bird, and Wilson LLP, to observe the National Day of Racial Healing, speaking about land back movements and land acknowledgement. We welcome all feedback related to this series. If you have a topic you would like to learn more about, or if you would like to present on a topic, please reach out to Randall or I, and we will put our contact information in the chat for you guys. Which Randall already did. All right. Thanks everybody for joining. Have a good day.
Pinagigi.